Welcome back to the Renegade Report. We are happy now to be joined by Stan Greene. He is with the Kern High School District, but quite frankly, as we look at Stan right here, we're not interested in the coat and, the shirt and tie guy. We're here to talk Bakersfield College and your days back at Bakersfield College. So we'll get to that in a moment. But one thing I wanted to address with Jeff, who was kind enough to hang around, is that just yesterday, I went and visited Coach Collis at the hospital, Jerry Collis at the hospital. Been battling, obviously, some complications, and he's been in and out of the hospital for quite some time. So first and foremost, our prayers go out to Jerry Collis. But I know you've been there a couple times to talk to Coach as well.
Coach is, without a doubt, one of the icons of our community. I think you think of Bakersfield as a community, and you think of Buck Owens, and I think of Coach Collis. I really do. He's had such an influence on so many people in this town, and has done so much for BC. It's he's given back since he stepped into town, and even when he got out of coaching, he's done so much for not just the athletic department but the whole college. He's kept so many people involved and interested in BC, and he's such a great guy. So many life lessons he's taught to so many people, and he remembers them all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just absolutely amazing to go in and talk to him, and he can tell you stories that just are amazing. In fact, he was at Hell South. This was probably 6 months ago, because he's had a ton of issues.
Right.
And we were at lunch, and this guy walks in, and he was a baseball player, and I think he played for Coach Johnson when he was the baseball player, and his name was Maisie.
Uh-huh.
And I believe it was Tim was his first name. And he comes up to say, "Hey, Coach, I didn't realize you're in here." He was going to see somebody else.
Right.
Coach turns over and goes, "That's Maisie, best shortstop Bakersfield College has ever had back in 1966 or something." I'm like, What the heck?
Yeah.
But that's who he is. He's just one of those guys that has done so much for Bakersfield, our community, and so much for BC.
Has.
And he's a fighter. He's a tough man.
Oh, without a doubt.
And I know he wants to be up at that Renegade game on the 13th, and I pray that he is. He's a good guy.
That's the first thing he said to me. He wanted to be at the game.
Yeah.
He did that, and then he started talking about Chicago 50 years ago. Something about Chicago. So I was going. So he's there. He's good to go. So Jeff, thanks for sharing that with us. Greatly appreciated. Now, Stan, we're going to talk BC football in the past, 1988 in particular. First of all, you played there. What year?
I played in 87 and 88.
87, 88. So the 88 game, I got some highlights here that I'm going to share with some people from the game against Fullerton. And one of the things first, and we'll show you, first of all, we're talking about your mobility. I was really impressed by how Jeff and I, about how much you, so here's a play right here. If we go to a Chris where you're throwing a TD pass to Lionel Sykes earlier in the game. Good crowd, by the way, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, it was
Place was packed. Here's Stan under center. Look at him just rolling out and then throwing against his body right here. Lionel Sykes. We're going to show a second angle here, but you remember that play. What are your thoughts on it?
You know what? I just remember the whole day was a great day for us. And, Sykes had a big game. And, he's still a friend of mine to this day.
Yeah. So here's the play again from a different angle. And the touchdown for the Renegades. So, having said that, we're here to talk about the final drive. Because the final drive was the one that got you guys the national championship. Obviously, you're trailing, going down there. And everybody talks about the 4th and 1 play, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get to that in a moment.
Okay.
Can I show you 3rd and 1? Do you remember 3rd and 1?
3rd and 1.
Well, it was 3rd and something.
Okay.
Okay, watch this play. Chris, show him 3rd and 1. There's Stan Greene under center, and there's Stan Greene under center. Do you remember that?
I probably got stepped on by the
Is that
center.
what it is? We'll slow mode for you. We'll see what happened here.
Oh, yeah. See, the guard stepped on me. The guard stepped on me.
Okay. I didn't know. I thought it was just lack of ballet classes. I didn't know what it was.
Quick like a cat.
Yeah, quick like a cat. Not quick enough, I guess, with that guard pulling out on you. So anyway, that set up the next play, which is 4th and 1. You guys were known for just smash mouth, running the ball down the throat of people, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, we all know eventually, or at least most people know you threw the ball in this play. But what was the conversation before we showed the play?
So that was the Renegade way, and honestly, I have to kind of give some credit to start that drive out. As a kid, since I was 10 years old, my dad used to take me into the Mineral King Bowl in Visalia. We'd sneak in and we'd play football. And every game with me and my friends against the parents, we always had to come back to win on the last drive.
Okay.
So it's one of those deals. It's like Game 7 of the World Series. You've worked on this your whole life. And So when you get that opportunity, you're really excited about it. And, you just look and go, man, this is what I've been waiting for my whole life. So we end up in 4th and 1, and Coach Bowser calls timeout, and we go to the sideline, and we have the conversation of, hey, here's what we're going to do. And he says, all right, we're going to run bone 416 option. He says, but listen, it's 4th and 1. If you can run the ball, I want you to run for the first down. Don't take a chance on throwing it. And so my recollection is I faked the handoff and rolled out, and I didn't have an opportunity to run. And Lionel was just so wide open because everybody in the house knew, the Renegade way was, it's 4th and 1. You know what play we're going to run? Too bad. And we're going to run it. And, Bowser went against the grain on that. And so we rolled out. Sykes was so wide open. I tossed it to him kind of like a newborn baby.
Well, let's show you the play as you're talking about it. Let's keep talking, though, but we'll show you the play. Here it is.
So everybody bid on the fake, and there's Lionel.
Yeah, he was wide open.
It was pretty. It's a scary throw, because
it is.
if he drops it, your season's
or
over.
Or if you short arm it, it's incomplete.
Which happens.
And here's later in the drive, same combo coming up. Later in the drive, you guys connect once again for a completion right here that gets you even deeper into Fullerton territory. More of a drop back here, but again, wide open, get out of bounds, clock stops.
Yeah.
So we're going to show the winning touchdown in a moment, but what? You're going to say something about that. What?
I'll tell you about that play. That play, we go to the sideline, and Coach Dameron's standing there, and Coach Bowser, and Coach Pollard's up in the box. He's the quarterback coach, and it's 3rd and 12 or something like that, and Dameron says, hey, run the ball, Carl. Run the ball. He wants to run a blast back to the middle of the field. We're only down by a point. Kick field goal. Let's win the game. And I said, Coach, last year it came down to a field goal, and I don't want this to come down to a field goal. Just let me throw a pass. I won't take a sack, I promise, because if we take a sack, we're out of field goal range.
Right.
And Coach Bowser called up to Pollard, and Coach Pollard said, hey, if Stan thinks we can do it, let's do it. And so Coach Bowser looked at me and said, all right, what do you want to run? And I said, well, I want to go slot and have Sykes running out. I won't spend any time. I'm going to drop back and throw the ball. There will be no sack. And he says, well, do it. And Coach Dameron looked at Coach Bowser and goes, you're crazy, Carl. And he stormed off. And, Dameron's probably one of the best line coaches in the state, still to this day.
Right.
I mean, he is a phenomenal coach. Yeah, probably the country. I mean,
he's an amazing guy.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. And in theory, that probably would have been a good thing to do. But, we just had such a hot streak that year. We were so fortunate. So I went out to the huddle, and I told the linemen, we're going to do 5-step drop. I tell Lindsey, who caught 1 million passes that year, hey, get in slot. And I look at Lionel. I said, hey, look, we need 12 yards. Run a 13-yard out. I'm going to throw you the ball. Get out of bounds. Let's go win this thing. And I'll never forget, Lindsey looked at me and Bobby looked at me and go, well, what do you want us to run? I said, I don't care. You're not getting the ball. And, so there it was. And
all right, so keeps the drive alive. Now let's go to the winning touchdown. Chris, if we could go to that as you guys are on the doorstep right here and you punch it in. Talk about just the feeling and thought of this play.
The clock was ticking down, and we've probably had about time enough for maybe 2 plays at that point. And, it's just an emotional moment when you look at the crowd and that your family's there. And, my mom was there. I recall my mom being in the back of the end zone. She somehow ended up down on the field. And, my wife, who's my wife now, she was there, Amy and Coach Miller. And it was just a great, great day. A lot of friends to this day are still, they were there. They remember where they were. And just a great experience for this community, really.
Yeah, it was. It certainly was. Now, game's over. You guys win. You hoist the trophy. You're national champs, all that kind of stuff. I want you to hear what Carl Bowser had to say about you. You might remember, but what he said about you after the game.
I got a lot of confidence in Stan. Stan Greene agreed, and he was a big guy today. Stan Greene was so good at the line of scrimmage today. He could have played for Miami Dolphins today. I guarantee maybe the Raiders ought to sign Stan Greene.
All right. So he said you could have played for the Miami Dolphins and maybe the Raiders should sign Stan Greene. I'm thinking, when might a guy from Bakersfield ever be the quarterback of the Raiders, right?
Now.
Now, yeah, exactly. Well, what about that, just hearing Coach say that?
We were just so blessed to have that coaching staff and that group of kids, and they made it really easy for me. It was go to the line of scrimmage, count the number of guys in the box. If there were 6, do this. If there's 7, do this. And, I think that was probably one of the beginning experiences in this area of running check with me stuff at the line of scrimmage, which really gives the offense an advantage. I think we were doing stuff that other people weren't at that time.
Yeah. All right, so finally, we've got just about 2 minutes left. So here's my interview with you some 20-some years ago after the game.
It feels great. It feels great to win a game this big with the crowd this big. Thanks, Bakersfield.
You guys can finally let loose. You're 9-0, you had to be subdued, 10-0, but now it's all over.
And now we can go crazy, and we're gonna.
What was this game like? What was it like?
It was incredible. It was an incredible game. It felt like the Super Bowl to me, but it was just incredible, and it showed how great our team is. And so we want Notre Dame next week. We want Notre Dame.
All right, so you wanted Notre Dame next week.
Hey.
Was that the Johnny Manziel money thing?
Yeah, I guess so. I started that. I want to copyright that.
Yeah, I think Manziel owes you a little bit.
I think I got a mustache going there too. It's pretty nice.
Yeah,
I'm going to bring that back.
Yeah, so that just had to be a really cool feeling.
You know what? It really was. I mean, and the Notre Dame thing, funny enough, was.
Well, they were pretty good in '88.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. That team right there could have beat a lot of Division I football teams. We were stacked.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it's been nice to sort of go back and look at that kind of stuff. Of course, when I look at myself 20 years ago, I don't want to look at myself now sometimes, but that's just the way it is with Father Time. Hey, listen, we're going to wrap up the Renegade Report here, but we'd like to thank, first of all, Jeff Chudy for being in studio, Stan Greene, of course. We're going to effort Gino Valpredo next week. We're going to see if we can get Gino in here, talk a little football. We have one more trivia question. Again, like us on Facebook on Bakersfield College Athletics, and that would be Rick Van Horn was in here last week, talked about his book about BC football. What was the title of that book? Again, written by Rick Van Horn. I want to thank once again our boss, Louis Hamastoy, Chris McCullough calling the shots, Francis Mayer, our producer. I am Greg Kerr. We will be back next week here at 11 o'clock. And again, like us on Facebook, Bakersfield College Athletics. Have a great day.